Well, mismanagement of futsal in the United States continues as we see Coach Moreira of the national team get sacked back on July 26th, just recently here a few days ago, by U.S. Soccer. Seemingly after the failure at CONCACAF, he was shown the door. A very nice message from Coach Moreira that he posted afterwards, showing his passion and dedication to the country and to the futsal team, and that he will continue to cheer them on. And just a very brief message from U.S. Soccer extended national teams posting that, yes, we're acknowledging this happened, with very little detail behind it, which that's typically how these things go in the sports world. You can make some assumptions along the way, and that's why stations like ESPN exist, right? If it wasn't for that, then, those guys would have nothing to talk and speculate about. So it's the same thing here. We're just as affected. You guys know how I feel about the transition from the old guard to the new to Moreira. And I want to expand on that a little more and make sure I defend Moreira on this in a way, because I feel that he had limited resources and was set up to fail. If you guys caught our live stream shortly after that news broke, we went live to talk about the news and kind of get everyone's takes. And we had a nice little conversation with some of our community in a short hour live stream. We talked about how there is very limited resources for the coach and that they were kind of set up to fail in a lot of ways. And you take a look at the prep for CONCACAF itself, and you see that while we were playing against club teams, albeit in Argentina where there's a lot of great players, other CONCACAF teams were facing other national teams, whether it be within CONCACAF to tune up or facing other countries with like tactics to those that would be in their groups. We did not do that. We did not have the resources to do that. And we had very limited camps that happened, unlike when we did this for the 2021 World Cup, where we were clearly a very more gelled team that had way better chemistry. Now, I will say this, even though I do think U.S. Soccer failed Moreira with resources and support and setting him up as kind of a fall guy, in my opinion, after changing the guard so last minute. Moreira only had less than a year on the job before he was officially shown the door. So when you think about that, he had even less time before he arrived in Nicaragua for the CONCACAF tournament. Another thing to consider is that, unfortunately, he really didn't do himself much favors at the tournament. We did not see a lot of changes in tactics to adjust to the teams we were playing. We saw a lack of discipline from the players that were there, fights happening after games. I'm hearing that there were fights within the team after the games, let alone with the referees after that last game, and just general arguing. A lot of lack of passion, in my opinion, that or a lack of endurance, one or the other. But either way, it's the coach's job to make sure his team is ready to go. And these teams, this team of players just did not look convincing at all throughout the entire tournament. Even when they were winning, they didn't look that good. So it's definitely a concern. Of course, it's going to raise some eyebrows. On paper, Moreira looked like a great way to bridge the gap between two worlds. With our culture for arena soccer here in the United States and a bit of an obsession with it, even within the futsal community from our leaders, Moreira has had experience in both camps. He played in Brazil in futsal. He extended his career here to play arena soccer, and then became the coach he is now. So he is potentially, on paper, someone who could bring everyone together and still possibly scrape together a result. But unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be for U.S. Soccer. There's a couple other things I want to address on that, guys, that I talked about a little bit in the live streams. One thing that I didn't talk about in the live stream was the fact that futsal is part of the extended national teams of U.S. Soccer. We've been bundled together with several other programs and teams and have to share a budget. This is why we cannot prepare correctly for CONCACAF, and I have to defend Moreira in a lot of ways in that category. But also, if U.S. Soccer is going to take futsal seriously, they have to pull futsal out of that charitable arm of the organization and the federation. It has to be a standalone program within U.S. Soccer that actually is supported with a budget and a program and goals. We see how France has done that and has reaped massive, massive benefits because of it. Why aren't we doing the same thing? Surely we have the resources, and we're not the only ones that are suffering through those kinds of decisions, though, aren't we? Because we look at the richest FA in the world being the English FA, and even they aren't supporting futsal. So I'm not sure where the separation is and why we can't get these countries' FAs that could make a huge difference in the global landscape for futsal from top to bottom are not putting the money towards it to capitalize and be leaders in the sport. Another thing that I brought up that we had a conversation about in the live stream was the fact that we are losing so much talent to the outdoor game. Now, I do understand that in the United States, futsal is often touted as a training tool for soccer, But therein part kind of lies the problem. There are opportunities for clear paths forward to represent your country in other ways. We do not advertise it. And even our leaders within the youth futsal organizations have taken time to advertise the MASL model instead of any potential futsal models to try and push the sport forward as a whole. I've asked a lot of questions about what's going on behind the scenes. What are these organizations, these interest groups doing to support and represent futsal for us within US soccer? Seemingly, we are going backwards instead of forwards in a lot of different ways that is holding the sport back here. But on top of that, MASL, although being a great path, is not recognized by the rest of the world. We cannot lean on the American version of indoor soccer like we do so many times in other sports, just being the American way. It does not translate. And although it may have worked in the early years of futsal by us having athletic players and having a player pool that maybe didn't exist in other countries, the rest of the world has evolved and moved on. We are so far behind now from the days of us making it to the bronze on the podium and competing with these other world-class countries in futsal. It's time to catch back up. It's time to start thinking outside the box. And I do not believe that a pay-to-play national team model from U.S. youth futsal organizations are going to solve our problem for us. It needs to be more creative. I think about a club that I shouted out during the live stream, Birmingham Futsal, who has gone above and beyond with connections. They've taken their kids to clubs and gotten a lot of output from it. In fact, they just recently at Birmingham Futsal saw one of their players sign with Sporting Lisbon's women's team, and she will be pursuing her collegiate career as well as her futsal career now in Lisbon. Great opportunity for her. I see them also connecting with other clubs in other countries and being really creative in the way that they do things. They have some great videos on their social media pages that you guys should check out where their kids, all the way from Birmingham, Alabama, have gone to play and had a kicker bout with the first team of the men's team. And you can see them joking around and playing with the likes of Ziki Tay, someone who is ranked and awarded the best young player of the Euros in its last iteration at only 20 years old at the time. This is who they're rubbing shoulders with. This is how they're creating a true path for futsal within their academy and providing value to their parents and kids. And I think we need to see more of it in this country. I think we need to encourage our local academies and any budding teams that want to create paths for futsal to think creatively, think outside the box. Don't be afraid to reach out above and beyond the stars of what you think your local network is, and find a way for us to pull this thing together. I've said it for years. Futsal people need to take care of futsal. No one else is doing it for us. We need to be the ones that prove that there's something special here. We need to be the ones that foster this game and take it to the next level. I'm ready to do it. I hope the rest of you are ready to do it. I always enjoy you guys reaching out, whether it be in the comments or through email or our Discord, as you guys have done on previous videos of this nature to share your support and your stories. I hope we can continue to do that. And I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think needs to happen to change this model and derail this train and get it going in a different direction? How do we break the mold and get out of this horrific cycle of not being able to compete with the rest of the world? And then my other question for you guys is with the next coach, who do you expect it to be? For me, I made a comment in the live stream that I don't think it really matters until US Soccer fixes the foundational approach to this within the organization. The coach now is just a figurehead and keeping a seat warm, saying that we're involved in futsal. I think we need more to it. I'm curious what you guys think. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you have a different opinion in the comments and that we're doing fine. I'd love to have those conversations with you guys. Like I said, don't forget to join us in our Discord. Don't forget to reach out to me in the DMs or through email. I love chatting with you guys and hearing your stories. Until I hear from you guys then, as always, don't forget to play with your soul.